Functions review questions 5 and 6. Number 5, find the y-intercept and the x-intercept for the equation below. Remember, when you are finding the y-intercept, how many times have I said the y-intercept is the value of y when x is 0? The y-intercept is the value of y when x is 0. So in other words, in order to find the y-intercept, we know that x is 0. Well, it's the same thing for the x-intercept. Well, opposite, I should say. If we're finding the x-intercept, then y has to be 0. So to do this, what you want to do is plug in 0 for either the y if you're solving for the x-intercept, or the x if you're solving for the y-intercept. So let's start with the x-intercept. If I'm solving for the x-intercept, that means y is 0. Well, when I plug 0 in for the y, -3 times 0 would make that 0. So that term would go away, because anything times 0 is 0. So what is left? What's left is 6x equals -36. So in other words, when I'm finding the x-intercept, the y term would go away, and what's left is 6x equals -36. And then for the y-intercept, I would plug 0 in for the x. By plugging 0 in for the x, 6 times 0 is 0. What is left is -3y equals -36. -3y equals -36. Now you're solving one-step equations. Divide both sides by 6 to find the x-intercept. Divide both sides by -3 to find the y-intercept. So the 6's cancel. -36 divided by 6 is -6. So the x-intercept is -6. So the graph crosses the x-axis at -6. The y-intercept, the -3's would cancel. And -36 divided by -3 is 12. So that means the graph crosses the y-axis at +12. So for our final answer, the x-intercept is -6, 0, and the y-intercept is 0, 12. Question number 6. The table and the equation below both represent linear functions. Which function has the greater rate of change? Well, in order to find the rate of change, remember rate of change is slope. I had to first, for function b, solve for y, and I already did that. So I boxed my y term, took my x term to the other side. These are not like terms, so I cannot combine them. I just brought them down, and then I divided everything by the coefficient of y to get y by itself, to isolate y. So when you look at this problem, what is the rate of change? What is the slope of this equation? Remember, it's y equals mx plus b. M is in front of x. Well, the number in front of x is -5. So my rate of change for function b is -5. Pause the video and go ahead and get everything that's in the screen here written down. For function a, in order to find the slope, I have to find the difference in y. That's what I did here on the bottom. -33 minus -17. It's not -33 minus 17. It's -33 minus -17. So minus a negative actually becomes positive. So -33 plus 17 is -16. That's my difference in y value. On top, 9 minus 5 is 4. So to find my rate of change for function a, I take the difference in y values over the difference in x values. Divide that out, I get -4. So my rate of change for function a is -4. Function a, -4. Function b, -5. Which one of these numbers is greater? Now remember, these are negative numbers, so you have to think kind of opposite. Or you should say, what number is closer to 0? In this case, -4 is closer to 0, so that would make -4 the greater rate of change. So my final answer is function A has the greater rate of change. Okay, so if you didn't get everything written down, go ahead, pause your video, get all of that written down. If you have any questions for numbers 5 and 6, let me know.